All right, here's our Bitcoin update for the day. We're going to take a look at the candle close. We're going to take a look at this beautiful pump we just had. Massive short squeeze that came through on Bookmap. It started little by little and then just got crazy. They had a lot of people in fear, right? Fed meetings, whatever. And when you have that many people in fear, you can take advantage of the fear. One thing I kept talking about too was this divergence. Honestly, I talked about it today in my trading group. But when you lock these in step, this here, basically flat or slightly to the upside, that's a hidden bullish divergence. That's a swing up. That's swinging down. You should make a high higher than this high. You know, technically you should make a high higher than this high. There's also an M pattern that, I guess you could say this was the M and that was the measured move. So here, I mean, here's your M. Your measured move was just from the wick, you know, to the wick really. Something like that. That's what you did. Not too shabby. So it makes sense. And then this was a falling wedge that I kept saying was likely to break to the upside. Okay. I almost saw this as exaggerated bullish divergence because when you bring it down here, it's flat and that's downtrending. Either way, they're both a bullish divergence. You also got a golden cross here. Another thing I was talking about is the tight moving averages here on the 1 hour time frame. When moving averages get really tight on the 1 hour, we tend to get a pretty big move to the upside. And the RSI was getting low too as well, right? When we go to the 7 minute, I was saying how, you know, it wasn't amazing, but this technically still was a divergence, right? Because that was sharper down than that. And the real divergence that we found was here, this just little one. That was moving up. Well, that was moving down. Technically, that should be your bottom. I remember going over this on the nightly screen share, right? So I kept, you know, going over the fact that it was likely we were going to get a bounce. You know, here we got rejected, and eventually we broke through the previous high. And it looks like we're going all the way up toward that point of control at 24,700. Nice move for Bitcoin. You know, beautiful, beautiful move. So let's see. We're technically still in this rising wedge. See, this is definitely, we got to get above this trend line. So Bitcoin has to break above this trend line. And that's also going to break that previous high, right? That's going to be a $25,700 Bitcoin. And that's going to push us to the upside, all right? 22 hours resetting, which is a really good sign that we could get some, like a nice move out of this. So I like what I'm seeing here on the 22 because we reset, you know, the point of the story on the 22, and I talked about it in the live, was we reset. We went all the way from the dotted line to the dotted line and barely, you know, usually when you do that on the 22, you get a pretty nasty dump. So when I saw that the dump was small, told me that there was a chance that we were actually going to have a pretty nice move. And so far, look, at the 22 is just getting started. This thing has legs. So let's look at this again. I'm going to reassess one more time if you don't mind. All right, here we are again. I'm going to say that this trend line held on the 22, and this is our shape. I'm going to commit to this shape here. I feel like it broke out, broke back in. There's some wickage here. But yeah, like I'm going to commit to this shape. To me, the trend line still held. You're basically making some type of consolidated pennant here. Measured move, bang. Simple is as simple does. Previous resistance became support, going up to 28,500 for Bitcoin. You just gotta, like, you know, hit here, get a bounce here. We just don't want to get a bearish retest down out of this area. So I'm calling this as the shape. I'm redrawing and I'm sticking to it. I was one of the first people to find the first shape that we worked with as we started the trade, right? So I bet you'll see other people jump on this bandwagon over time, but this is what I'm looking at here for Bitcoin. All right, so let's begin to build now. Let's see what's going down. Let me replace these with number lines. So 23,650, beautiful support. 22,500, beautiful support. 21,500, beautiful support. And 20,500, all right? We don't really have to worry about much from there, you know, like that's kind of it. These are our lines of support and resistance that we're dealing with. And you can see they coincide when you see left, which is great, right? And here we go. So this is what we have to deal with. And so far, Bitcoin has shown that it made a higher low in the trend. So here's your overall trend is you have a high, you have a low, you have a higher high. Bitcoin has to put in a higher low. And honestly, the fact that these two candles just did what it did, that's your higher low right there. To me, that's confirmation of a higher low. And I believe that we could have a massive move for Bitcoin in the next few days. So Bitcoin's looking really bullish to me right now off this move, right? And remember, we did call this falling wedge. When everyone else was bearish, we were looking at this falling wedge and figured that we had to break up. Now, we had this pattern here, and we're telling you, you could still bearishly retest that. But to me, I see a bigger pattern at play. And that's the area, as we started to drop, if we didn't get a bounce, we were going to go lower. We got the bounce. Really, really nice bounce. Let's take this away for a split second and just look at our daily close. I mean, look at the daily close. It's a bullish hammer to the upside. Huge wick up, right? So we opened at 24,450. The high was 24,476. The low is 23,570, and we closed at 24,000. So we closed above 23K on the daily, and then the second the daily closed, we bullishly engulfed the other part of this candle. So that candle has been ripping now for only 3 hours. It's a really, really impressive feat so far for Bitcoin. So I like what I'm seeing here, and this is bullish. This is a bullish sign. All right, so we're going to go with this 22-hour. I'm showing you that the 22-hour really has signs of life here for a nice move to the upside. It's weird. I'm like double clicking and I'm like, show me the rest of the charts, right? So look, the 22-hour getting a bullish move, lack of bearish momentum in the MACD. The fact that we had all this movement down on the stochastic and not much movement on price action tells me that Bitcoin's gearing up for a pretty big move. All right. So again, and I could be wrong, there is bearish divergence here, right? But so far it's being, and again, the bearish divergence will get negated if we push up here and we end up getting a higher stochastic, a higher RSI reading, which is happening right now as we speak. So I trade this bullishly. We basically already decided to enter here, but someone could wait for a smaller time frame to maybe retest. But anywhere in this area would be possibly, in my mind, a good area for entry, right? Stop loss somewhere below this point of control here. And this is the trade I'd be looking at for BTC to go all the way up to 28,500. All right, so yeah, and I just posted that. Well, I was posting that to the group. So this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Pretty big move coming. We'll take a look at the 4-hour time frame. 4 hours just getting started with gas, right? And you have to basically take, basically the length of this. This is going to be the length of the move. All right, that's your next wave line, and that's going to take you to like 27.5. So I like what we're seeing. Again, we're going to have to make. We're going to have to get above this green zone here. And, we have heavy resistance, but there's a lot speculating that we can get there. 1 hour is getting pinned right now, and it can continue up. I believe at one point it'll go at least to the top of the channel, to this point of control. And then we're going to have to see some type of flag here on the 1 hour. But I like what I'm seeing. Massive short squeeze on Bookmap. Yeah, the 15-minute even has more legs right now, which suggests that we could get even a bigger short squeeze. Massive short squeeze on Bookmap. Basically $1 million getting liquidated very, very fast, and continuing. It doesn't look like it's over yet. This looks like it's going to continue to the upside. Price just got above the 200 SMA. Whenever that happens on any time frame, you usually get a move, right? Look, you go back in time on this 15, price got above the 15 MA here, boom. Price got above the 15 MA here, boom. Price got above the 15 MA here. Boom. Even if it's not a huge boom, at least you get a boom. And that's usually a bigger boom than that. So let's see if this could continue at least to the top of the channel. So this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. So a nice pump for BTC. Beautiful move. I don't think altcoins are going to follow this directly yet, but once this cools off, I see some movement for the altcoins tonight too. I've posted a lot of altcoins in the trading group, things that I'm looking at, things that are getting ready. Definitely want to kind of get ready for that. So this is great. You know, even if we stall out here and we make some type of flag, which is very likely because the 1 hour is getting overbought, you know, I eventually see us hitting the top of this channel, probably coming back down, getting tight. And then the 22 hours, really the time frame that I'm watching the most for a move to the upside. So I like what we're seeing here for Bitcoin. If you watch my channel this morning, I was calling a reversal back off the bounce here. I showed you this double bottom, right? Right when I saw basically the double bottom and calling it out. I leave this here just as a reminder that we could do a bearish retest of the trend, but to me, that's technically just going to be the top of the channel. But beautiful double bottom move so far for Bitcoin. Again, that even has a measured move somewhere up in here to the upside as well. And that's your Bitcoin update for the night. I see this continuing to the upside or going sideways, and I see the bigger time frames taking us up. And the 22 looks like we're going to get a move. I'm predicting a move up to 28,500 for Bitcoin. It does make, you know, we do have to stay above 23,500. That's really the only prerequisite. And this trend line, getting above this point of control will also kind of seal the deal at 24,650. And that's our update for Bitcoin on the night.